Hi people, it's me Anja, my pronouns all she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. I've made many videos in the past talking about books with disabled main characters, but since disability is such a big umbrella, I wanted to be more specific today and talk about my favorite books with specifically chronic illnesses. You know what I mean? So many of these books I've talked about before in the past, so I apologize if this video is redundant. But anyway, without any further ado, the first book on this list is called Sick Kids in Love. I wanted to start with this book because I think that this book is the first one that I was aware of with a main character with a chronic illness. I feel like for most readers, the first book that they've ever read with a disabled main character was probably Out of My Mind, or even like The Fault in Our Stars. But with this book, like, I thought it was so good and so wonderful, and it doesn't romanticize the disability, and it like shows a happy, wholesome love story where nobody dies at the end or anything like that. But anyway, for those who don't know, this book is a YA contemporary following a young main character with rheumatoid arthritis, and she has sworn off dating because it's easier and whatnot until she finds somebody who has a chronic illness just like her, although not the same diagnosis, and she realizes that maybe she does have a chance at love. You know what I mean? Anyway, this book was so good. I thought it was so wholesome and hopeful. The disability representation paired with a love story was so cute and so awesome and so romantic. They have such great chemistry. The characters themselves are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is amazing and so engaging. This book definitely deserves all of its hype and so much more. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Aniana Jumps In. This story is a middle-grade contemporary following a young Dominican-American main character navigating a diagnosis of juvenile arthritis. And this book is written in verse, and I think that it's so well done and so good. I loved her character arc and the story arc and the plot and her relationship with her parents and with her diagnosis and with her disability itself. I think everything about this book was so well done and so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot, like I said, was so engaging and so well done. The writing is so lyrical, and the free verse format of this book really brought it to life so much more. I think this book is so good and it's so underrated. I think I read it in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 2022. But anyway, I think this book was so good. I would gladly read more from this author. I'm not exactly sure if they have written other books or even if this book is their debut. But anyway, overall, this book was really good and really wholesome and really well done. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Fall of Whit Rivera. This story is a YA contemporary following a young, plus-size Puerto Rican bisexual main character who is navigating a new diagnosis of PCOS as well as a new romance. This book is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. First of all, I loved how the queer representation matched with the bi-POC representation was so well done and so good. I just realized that I said bi-POC as in Black and or Indigenous person of color, but then I realized the main character is also a bisexual person of color, so it's like both. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's not what the acronym means. It means Black and or Indigenous and people of color, not bisexual person of color, but some people read it as that as well. Anyway, I digress. The point is, this book was so good. I loved all of the representation together. It felt so normalized and so well done. The disability representation was great too. Like, this book is excellent and it felt so wholesome and snug and perfect for like cold weather and like the stereotypical autumn American weather. You know what I mean? This book is excellent. The romance is so cute. The friendships are wonderful and lovely. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. Like, I was hooked from the beginning to the end. I'm so excited for the author's next book, which I believe comes out this year, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called One Killer Problem. This story is a YA contemporary murder mystery, following a young bisexual main character with IBS who's trying to solve the mystery of who killed her math teacher. This story is absolutely so excellent, and it's so good. First of all, I loved the writing style because I loved like the humor and the heart that it had, because it felt like comical at times while also like not exactly like making fun of like what was happening, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does, but basically this book was so good. I loved the pacing of the mystery itself. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The queer romance, like the disability representation, the characters, the friend group, everything about this book was so good. It was so well done, and it was so lighthearted in some places while also heavy in others. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I never really felt like the author was trying to like downplay like the seriousness of like death or like murder or anything like that. But like overall, this book was so good and it's so underrated, and with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Year My Life Went Down the Toilet. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following a young sapphic main character who is navigating a new diagnosis of Crohn's disease. This book is absolutely so good, and it's so well done, and I love it so much. First of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. This story is so wholesome, and it's so well done. The sapphic romance is absolutely so excellent, and it's so cute, and I love the friend group. I love it so much. This book is excellent, and it's fantastic, and I had such high expectations prior to going into it, and this book met those expectations. Jake is truly one of my favorite authors, which is something that I really don't say often, and I think that's because I've never rated any of their books 5 stars yet, but maybe I will with their next book, which I think comes out in August or something. It's called Leaving the Station. But anyway, this book was so wholesome and it's so well done. I just really enjoyed it so much. I love the representation, the queer representation matched with the disability representation and the Jewish representation. I love these characters. They felt like real people. Anyway, overall, I really enjoyed this book. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Time and Time Again. This story is a YA contemporary following a young sapphic main character with IBS who is stuck in a time loop. This story is absolutely so wholesome and it's so much fun. I love time loop stories so much, although I will say I'm not the biggest fan of seeing them in TV, with like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. time loop episode in season 7 being an exception. I don't know, I DNF'd Palm Springs and I've never seen Groundhog Day, so maybe like that's a me thing and it's not the movie itself, because I love time loops in books. They just make the book so much more like fun and exciting, and I think it's because it's like predictable in a sense, but it's also fun too. Does that make any sense? Because I typically, historically, don't really enjoy surprises, because I don't really enjoy being disappointed. Anyway, I digress. This book was absolutely so good and it's so much fun. The romance is so cute and so gay. I love it. The disability representation is excellent. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. I love her relationship with her parents so much. Like, this book is so much fun and it's so wholesome and it's so good. And it's really excellent. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called One for All. This story is a YA historical fiction retelling of the Three Musketeers, and it follows a young main character with POTS, and her diagnosis is more implied than explicitly said, just because this book is set in the mid-1600s, so I believe knowledge around that chronic illness is fairly new, if that makes any sense, but it's based on the author's own experiences as well. But anyway, this book was so good and it's so fantastic. First of all, I have never read the original story of the Three Musketeers, so I had no idea what to expect from the plot, especially since this retelling is also gender bent. But anyway, overall, the plot is so engaging and so intriguing. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. I love the friendship so much. I love the disability representation so much. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good, and it's so underrated. I remember when this book came out, and I thought that it was absolutely so good and so fantastic, and it totally lived up to its hype. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Grimrose Girls. This story is a YA urban fantasy following four best friends who are investigating the mysterious death of their former best friend, and one of the main characters has fibromyalgia. And I think this book is absolutely so excellent. If you've been subscribed to me since 2021, you would know that I used to talk about this book all the time. I think it's absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. First of all, I loved all of the queer representation, all of the POC representation of the four main characters. From what I remember correctly, two of them are lesbians, one of them is bisexual, and another one is Arlow Ace. Two of the main characters are people of color. One of the lesbians is half black and half Native Hawaiian, and the Arlow Ace main character is also Asian. There's lots of great disability representation, like I mentioned, the chronic pain, as well as anxiety and OCD. This book is absolutely so fantastic. The characters themselves individually are well developed and distinct. I loved all of them so much, and all of their the two side sapphic romances are so well developed and so distinct. I love the sequel to the series so much. It was one of my favorite books the following year when I read it in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. This book is excellent. I love the friendships. I love the multiple perspectives. I love the plot and the mystery and the world building. All of it is so atmospheric, and it's so well done. This book is absolutely so amazing, and it's so excellent. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. So in conclusion, I hope this video helped diversify your bookshelf, and if you enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the dragon emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!